All right, eight pushers, we're going to finish up the Gilded Age with Grover Cleveland's second term. Remember, he's the only president to not have two consecutive terms. So starting up, Panic of 1893. It's the same thing that started the Panic of 1873. Over speculation in the railroads, which meant that a lot of people were giving a lot of money to the railroads, but we've got enough railroads now. We don't need any more. And so the bubble pops and the economy goes down with it. Next up here, you have those populists we just talked about. The populists are farmers, they're industrial workers, they're miners, they join together, and they want something done about the economy. The gold standard is crucifying them, and so they want a silver standard. And so they even go so far in 1896 to nominate a populist for the Democratic Party. When the populists get really big, the Democrats adopt their philosophy, and you have William Jennings Bryan's famous "You shall not crucify mankind upon a cross of gold" speech. He's not going to win the election, but he definitely makes a statement that these populists, something needs to be done about the economy to help them out, because they're the average people and they are not happy. Pullman strike. George Pullman owns railroad company in Illinois. He creates a company town. When the economy goes bad, he cuts wages, but he keeps rent the same. So people were living in these nice places, but he cuts their wages, and eventually they call in, the workers go on strike. They call in Eugene V. Debs, head of the American Railway Union, and he convinces all of the railroad workers in America to not handle the railroad cars. So you have a lot of these cars that can't be unloaded, and so eventually the National Guard is going to be called in. Eugene V. Debs is going to go to jail. While in jail, he's going to read the Communist Manifesto. So when he comes out, like, he was radical before, but when he comes out, he's full-blown socialist, and is not afraid to admit it. He even starts the Socialist Party in America and runs for president, and then gets locked up a couple more times. Moving over here, Coxey's Army. Joseph Coxey is an Ohio rock quarry owner, and so basically he sees all these unemployed people every day, and he's like, why doesn't the U.S. government give them a job? And so he creates 60 of he and his followers march to Washington, D.C. to try to get the government to give them jobs. It gets to 6,000. The National Guard's waiting there for him. They expect that this is going to turn violent, but it's not an army with guns. It's just an army only in name only. Joseph Coxey's going to be arrested for walking on the grass because they had nothing else to charge him with. But it does show that the people are going to march to Washington, D.C. and that they want their voice to be heard. It's kind of like the Civil Rights Movement of the Bonus Army later on. The Atlanta Compromise, Booker T. Washington is going to get on stage in Atlanta and basically say that blacks need to mind their place. He says, this is white society, this is black society, but the hand works together, and the white audience is going to applaud him, when before they were calling him the N-word and stuff like that. So it basically says that one of the major leaders of black equality is now saying we need to know our place for now, and then hopefully with time we'll get equality. And then Plessy versus Ferguson, separate but equal, is constitutional. So separate facilities go hand in hand. So it's very much similar to what Booker T. Washington was saying. There's white society, here's black society. As long as it's separate, it works together, baby. So there you go. The Gilded Age is over now. We're going to start moving in with imperialism and fixing all these problems that we have in the Gilded Age.